Son, if you're listening, I died. But I left you this podcast. So you'll be all right. Just pretend that I went out for smokes. Hello, everybody. We're back, and it's your favorite white boy podcast. I'm Mike Racine. I'm joined by Scott Chaplin and Sean McCarthy. And yeah, how we doing, boys?
I'm swell. How are you, pal?
Good. My kid's going through a little dinosaur phase right now. It's pretty cool. He's into dinosaurs.
Good. He's finally matched up with your sensibilities.
Right.
You don't have to pretend you're interested anymore.
I can actually,
Yeah, you could correct him and not look at Deb and go, was I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the authority now.
Yeah.
You should take him to the Natural History Museum in New York. They have like the T-Rex skeletons and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I went there and I was like very excited to be in all the dinosaur rooms, and there's just a bunch of 7-year-olds.
When did you
around.
go? That's what I was going to say. Did you go on like a Tuesday afternoon?
Yeah, something
when
like
it's all
that.
field trips there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, so he's into dinosaurs. So I was thinking, like, what if there is a God, but God is like he's going through the life of a person. And so when the dinosaurs were happening, that's when God was like a toddler.
Ooh, I like that.
And then ancient history, that was God as like a child.
Sure.
And then in the 20th century, that was God. Now we're in God's like teenage years.
Teenagers, he's
you know?
causing some problems.
Yeah, he's like really into Nazis.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, well, the 1940s were like him as a Nazi, and then as like a full blood, like that was him like at 14.
Well, sure, yeah, because time is huge. So his teenage years are about like 1,000 years, perhaps, maybe.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So all of this mess, all of these holocausts are his
yeah.
teenage
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, we're just being controlled by
9/11.
it.
It's just like,
Yeah.
Someone told him to go to his room.
Yeah, he was looking at the buildings and he was like, "They're too big.
Yeah,
I
he's
want to."
like, threw some paper planes at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, God was getting into edgy shock comedy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When
Yeah,
he did
yeah,
the
he's really
Cambodian
jumped the shark.
genocide.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just my little
That's
riff.
fun. I like that.
Little
Yeah.
opening riff, yeah. And I don't know. You know, we moved this week, so I just feel like my brain's kind of like empty.
Yeah.
You know, when you
I don't even think I think it was a peaceful move, and that's why your brain is a little empty. I think you kind of liked it, and I think you are excited about your new place, and you're going, "Wow, I can't wait to have a family here." And you haven't
Yeah.
felt that in a minute,
Right.
And so you go, "What do I say?" Because
Yeah.
you think you might be anger,
yeah.
and you might be these list of complaints,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to know that's only the you that the listeners enjoy.
Right.
The happy you is
Right.
just not enjoyable, but
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
good for you.
Yeah.
Just not for the podcast.
I like that we can market. Mike Racine officially lasted 6 months in the hood.
Yeah. Yeah, but I haven't like yelled at my wife in a while. I haven't felt the need to. You know, I'm communicating better.
Since
Yeah,
Sunday,
so-
since you moved on
Yeah,
Sunday.
yeah. I did throw an ice pack at the door when we moved on Sunday. Yeah,
Okay.
I did kind of scream at her a little bit. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Move was relatively, smooth, and I can't complain. And I figured today we'd do an episode about something that I like a lot, and we're gonna talk about art a little bit.
Yeah, buddy.
We're gonna talk about our favorite paintings, our the art that's controversial, art that's whatever. It's the art episode.
Yeah, and on any level.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, let's start with school art, right? This
Yeah.
is a podcast
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Ben.
yeah.
Do you remember your first art teacher, or is there an art teacher that you go, whoa? Because my art teacher was very like Miss Frizzle. And I feel like that's a lot
Yeah.
of people's art teachers.
Yeah.
Your art teacher is the woman whose house is a wreck, if you ever went over there.
Yeah.
She's the woman whose lawn isn't cut if she lives in your town.
Yeah.
She is, her trees are a little more crooked than everybody else's. It's like Dr. Seuss planted them, not regular people.
Yeah.
My art teacher was Mrs. Opedasano.
That's funny that a married art teacher. They're usually not married.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
She was married. She had orange hair, wild orange hair.
They're usually like, the canvas is my husband.
She wore our class.
The art. It's just a woman who's like dragging her pussy across a canvas. You're like,
She saw her dog wipe her ass on the rug. She was inspired.
oh my god,
My God. He
You're
calls
like,
to
hi.
me.
I think I left my back. Holy shit!
Dragging,
Sweet mother of God.
wiping her ass on the carpet that kids read in
Yeah.
in school.
And then some Saudi prince pays $15 million for it for money laundering.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, who was that prince? Didn't he? Yeah. What did he pay? Like what was it?
Well, they paid like $100 million. I mean, it happens a lot for like a
But
Van
this one is
Gogh or
like
whatever.
it's like probably not real. It's like Mona Lisa's brother, right? You know about this? It's
No.
Like Mona Lisa's. It's Mona Lisa or like her cousin. And a Saudi prince bought it. We got to look into this. But anyway, I didn't know
It's
we
a
were going to
painting.
talk about that.
It's a painting called Mona Lisa's Hotter Friend. She can introduce you to.
Yeah, she actually shows her bobs. She actually winks at you if you look at it other ways.
I call it Mona Lisa's Bob.
Mona Lisa, but she actually responds to your DMs.
Just imagine like going to the Louvre and like being, seeing Mona Lisa and being like totally uninterested. Like, yeah, could you show me your friend over there? Whoa. You're friends with that girl? Whoa.
But yeah, I think, look, you guys could look it up. We vaguely say it. What we do is we interpret facts
Yeah.
and we display it as art.
Right.
And so we change the names and some of the facts and present you new facts. And so the king of Saudi Arabia, let's say, he owns the male Mona Lisa, and apparently it might not even be
They just
real.
took the
It's
Mona
like on
Lisa.
his
They
yacht
put
somewhere.
it through like the gender swap app.
Yeah, it's the most expensive piece of art in the world.
It's just Mona Lisa holding a Bud Light.
Yeah, so I always thought
Yeah.
that was kind of cool.
Well, we take facts and we run
Yeah,
them
and
through the...
Kid Rock bought it for $200,000 so he could shoot it with an AR.
I was walking in Alphabet City in Manhattan the other day, and Ball with the Ball started playing. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah.
The Kid Rock song.
Yeah.
Someone was playing it sincerely, and every one of us that like it hit our ears, whether they were walking out of their apartment or buying something on the corner, we all laughed to ourselves. I watched people laugh at a Kid Rock song, and it was so cool that like we all did enjoy that song.
Yeah.
But the fact that we can hear it and giggle
Yeah.
is so cool that it triggers that.
Yeah, yeah. Limp Bizkit too. I
Yeah,
think
what
that's
is
probably
that?
kind
That
of-
we all just start like we just become middle schoolers and you go, it's not good.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's funny that you're
Right.
playing this.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
Scott was basically right with everything he was saying
Boom.
there.
Come on, boys.
It's a painting that the Saudi government paid $450 million for U.S. dollars in November 2017. It's called Salvator Mundi, and it's nicknamed the male Mona Lisa. But there's a documentary that argues it's not actually a Leonardo da Vinci painting. And so it hasn't been going on like display where you would think it would go. And an explanation is the Saudis are trying to get like the French or whoever to back them up and say, hey, this is real. But there's like a lot of back and forth as nobody wants to kind of put their credibility on the line for that.
They should bring it to the Saudis should bring it to Pawn Stars in Vegas.
It's like, all right, best I could do is $30.
They start arguing. Get out! Get the fuck out! You don't speak to me like this. What network is this on?
Fuck you! Fuck you!
No, fuck you! They can't air the episode. The most expensive episode ever made. They can't air it.
Yeah, the Saudis are like, why don't we discuss this at the Turkish embassy?
He just takes his rental car and tries to drive it through the window.
Yeah. I remember my art teacher, she had really thick glass. They probably don't even make glasses like that anymore, right? The thick ones. And that time period where it would like literally if your eyesight was that bad, it changed the way your face looked. Like you got tiny eyes now.
Yeah.
Because you wore those
yeah.
thick glasses, your life was just completely ruined. You didn't get to do anything. You just became retarded.
Yeah.
You're just
It was terrible.
You're trying to read books in the park in the sun, and you're just murdering a bunch of ants.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, she had that, and I always thought that was so. I thought it was like how who's deaf? Bates Art. Well, Bates Art. Bates Art. That's when they teamed up and joined forces.
Yeah,
They started a band, but Beethoven was deaf, right?
Beethoven was deaf.
And to make music and be deaf, I always thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And I remember I always was like, "You're blind, but you like art. That's cool too."
Yeah.
And she's not blind. She's just has shit glasses.
Yeah, so I figure what we could do for this episode is everybody pick like a painting or two, and we'll all just kind of talk about it. And I guess the first one I want to talk about is this painting, the Arnold Feeney portrait. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at it, but it was made in 1434 by the artist Jan van Eyck in Bruges. And if you're not driving right now, you should go Google image the painting.
Yeah, this is a pull over on the side of the road episode.
Yeah,
We're going to be Googling some images today.
Pull over on the side of the road, but it's very cool because it's like one of the most debated portraits or paintings that's ever been made. And it's cool. There's like a lot going on in here.
Yeah, brother looks like Vladimir Putin. He's got a Toto.
The guy looks like
dog.
Vladimir Putin. He's kind of weird looking. There's a dog. There's a lady.
Yeah, she's
There's,
pregnant.
I watched a YouTube video. They said that she's not, but that was like a popular style of the way people painted.
A garb.
But
of women being painted that way, but she was not pregnant.
yeah. So
If we have the
here you
video
go.
working, I got
yeah, there you go. So
That's
just
the other thing.
some-
No one
got a
copyright
high-tech
strikes you for
solution.
fucking painting.
I know, it's cool. But just sort of a little historical context. So during the Middle Ages, a lot of people were kind of getting very wealthy. There was a new class of society emerging. There was a merchant class, and people were getting very wealthy. And one of the sort of like a status symbol was to get like a portrait done of your family.
Yeah.
So, and then this guy Jan van Eyck, the artist who did it, was like, I guess he worked for the king or something, because they're Italian and they moved to Bruges, which was like the center of trade. So they're kind of like trash, like new money.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
it's pronounced Bruges.
Bruges.
Yeah.
Bruges? Oh,
Yeah.
It's not Bruges?
It's not Bruges.
in Bruges. Yeah.
Oh
You never saw that movie?
no, I thought it was in. I always thought it was in
There was
Bruges.
two different places. Whatever.
No, I thought it was fuck.
Well, so I have a question about like her history of art, because I know it to a degree, which is like I know 2% of it, and then I made up the rest. So much of the art world and what we've seen of it is at the approval of leaders, and
Right.
because of that, you saw a lot of artists change their art. And I always wondered if it was because, like, so a king would see an artist and go, "You're mine now. Make art. I will pay you to make art. It is your job," because it was sort of like the leader's job to spread, to keep
Sure.
art flowing.
Also, like
I don't know.
wealthy families and
Yes, wealthy
Yeah.
families.
Yeah.
And so you'd see it change, and you go, is it because because they stop trying to appease these people? Because if you're trying to, like, it's like
Where
trying
you
to
see it change where?
it's like trying to win Simon Cowell's approval, right?
Yeah,
If you're an artist and you're and now everybody's trying to get into American Idol, you need the king's approval. So is everyone starting to paint based on the ruling class's view of what is a good painting? And so a lot of times what you see is someone will get, start being paid by leaders, and their paintings will change. And you go, is that a leader asking them, or like with Picasso, where who paid him? Some government paid his ass to just be a painter.
Hannah Gadsby.
Yeah. And it gave him permission to be free because the government paid him. And it was now do whatever you want, and so it's allowed to change, and it doesn't follow the strict rules. But you saw other people conforming because of ruling classes.
Right.
So art is like really weird to look at.
Yeah.
Famous art from back in the day, because you go,
Yeah.
whose call is this?
Right. Yeah, like maybe Michelangelo wanted to paint like demons fucking each other on the roof of the chapel.
Yeah. And he's like, no, heavenly angels touching
like,
fingertips.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and he's like, what if it was cocks, though? And they're like, no.
Yeah. What if God and Adam were bumping dicks?
Yeah.
What if the
That's funny.
Medicis just paid like 3 guys to hang out and riff with their boys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you never know. I heard Jeffrey Epstein liked to be around comedians.
Yeah.
He liked to like hang out with comics. Yeah.
Whoa, name names.
Chris Tucker, Chelsea Handler.
Yeah.
Chris Rock was invited to a dinner. His rep said he didn't show.
I just can't go where they fucking the kids.
He's fucking the kids. He is fucking the kids.
I'm not saying I don't like Jeffrey Epstein, but he fucking kids.
Everybody knows that guy who fucks the kid occasionally, and that guy who fucks the kid like it's his damn job. He can't stop fucking kids.
Yeah, so this painting is cool because it's like this. It's this little frame, but there's so much sort of going on. Like they're not sure exactly who these people are. They think it's these 2 people, Giovanni and I forget the lady's name, Conchetta or something, Arnolfini. They think it's those 2 people. He's like a merchant. She's got a green dress. Green dresses were very expensive to make back in the day. You had to like dye wool very intensively. There's a mirror. I don't know who's in the mirror. Yeah, they're in the mirror. But something's in the mirror. And then they think the painting was painted a year after she died. So they think this is like a memorial painting, and she's dead because her hand is like facing the sky, which means that she went to heaven.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
This is like a very good idea for an episode if we had any production values.
Yeah.
Like if we were doing like a YouTube thing and we could just show the picture
just
on the screen or
Footage
whatever.
rolling
like-
through.
Yeah. It's also like, yeah, I should have read a little more. I just think this painting is
Well, no,
cool.
I do like a thing like that because you get to look at it and then you get to unscramble it. You know, you get to analyze it like word salad. You know, like
Right.
a poem.
Right.
You go, oh, the dog. What did the dog do? The man is mad at the dog.
Yeah.
Because the woman, you know, and you just like you can find 100 stories in one picture based on whoever's looking at it, and what they're feeling.
Mm-hmm. They have glass in their window, I think, which a lot of people didn't have back then. I don't know. Maybe there's not as much going on in this painting as I thought. And then she's got these little devil horns.
What?
Fuck.
Mike is slowly
I
realizing things about the image as he's looking at it.
Let's see. There's a chandelier. Anyway, I don't know. Go on YouTube and watch. The other piece of art that I have is more. I got more details on that one. But yeah, there's a little dog. Let's see what else is happening here. Yeah, that's about it. They were just like a. They're like a wealthy like new money kind of trash family that got their photo taken.
Yes,
after she died.
It's like the current day would be like you go to the Jersey Shore and you wear like Western outfits and take a photo.
Yeah. Right.
That's
Right.
modern art.
Right. So
I like this. This was Mike's idea, though. I like that you're a more cultured man than people would expect, Mike.
yeah, I guess I just like well, when I was a kid I got kind of obsessed with like drawing and painting, and I didn't think I'd be good at it, so I never like pursued it. I was like too scared to.
Yeah, because they fucking lie to you about what art is, and they have to, because we live in a world where you have to have jobs and shit.
Yeah.
And so they have to tell you like, no, that's bad. This is good art. That's bad art.
Right.
But the truth is like you need the freedom, like
Yeah.
anything, like
Yeah.
comedy, right, to make bad art.
Yeah.
In order to find actually great art. Picasso is a person.
You need
who,
to do 60 bad episodes of a podcast before you
yeah,
get to like a good
before
one.
you hit a 10-episode streak.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But what the hell was I saying?
Good art, bad art. Doing
Well-
bad art in order to do good art.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It is one.
Well,
of,
I was watching another video about The Scream by Edward
Oh, yeah.
Munch, the famous, and it's like that dude, like, he painted on cardboard because he couldn't
Oh, no
afford
shit.
canvas.
I didn't know that. I didn't
So
know
The
that.
Scream is painted on like unfinished cardboard.
really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good on him.
Yeah.
That's like Van Gogh only sold, what, one painting while he was alive?
I don't know if he sold any.
No, I think one.
He did.
Yeah.
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 Well, he sold
It's like
a
his
couple.
mom. You know, your mom always get like one
yeah.
things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like our mom's buying a T-shirt of the
Yeah.
of the show.
And his shit is like undeniably great. And that's why you look at it and you go, were you just not in a position to be selling it? Because how could
Yeah.
you sell art a lot of famous art stories are, again, it's like very wealthy family thrown into some sort of situation with leaders and then you're good. Or it was like a wealthy wife and then she died and all of a sudden the man doesn't do art anymore.
Yeah.
And you go, wait, was it the wife the whole time?
Yeah. Well, people's tastes change, I think, and it's like the idea of what art is supposed to be changes. So, like, people might have looked at Van Gogh's paintings and been like, it doesn't look realistic. 'Cause
Yeah.
he sort of came as a response to, the Impressionists that made everything like
And
hyper
it
realistic.
took a while for people's taste to evolve enough to understand that Jesus Christ covered in piss is actually brilliant art.
Which that's the other one I want to talk about. Yeah, because that is awesome.
That's something Mike can explain
Yeah.
in great detail.
yeah. I should have
It's just
opened with Piss Christ.
Piss
actually.
Christ, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a Howard Stern bit in the fucking Whitney Museum. Porn star riding the Sabian sells for $20 million.
Now
to
I
the
got an
Saudi
idea. Why
Royal
don't you
Fund.
pull your pants down and take a piss on that crucifix?
Yeah, piss Christ is a thing you do like when you're cleaning out an attic and don't want to go downstairs to take a piss. You go, all right, I'll piss in this thing
Yeah, piss Christ is
that has
something.
a Jesus in it.
Piss
for
Christ
some
is something
reason.
you do to impress a hot Jewish woman you're on a date with.
The image is actually great, though.
I actually live right around the corner. I was wondering maybe, and I have my grandmother's crucifix.
we could pee on it, and I think there might be some Goyim babies running around. We could maybe grab one of them.
Oh no, my internet's down. We can't watch Netflix. I don't know. Do you want to maybe take turns pissing on this crucifix?
Yeah, for listeners who don't know, piss Christ is.
Well, so let me open. Yeah. Go ahead.
you can read on them if you want to.
Yeah.
But in the 80s, an artist placed Jesus on a crucifix, like one of those ones you could buy, into a big cup and urinated, filled it,
Yeah. It depicts a small plastic crucifix submerged in a glass tank of the artist's urine. The piece was a winner for the Southeastern Center for Contemporary Arts Awards in the Visual Arts Competition, which was sponsored in part by the National Endowment for the Arts, a United States government agency that offers support and funding for artistic projects.
That rocks.
So this was just like, I don't know where this guy's from, but it says Southeast, so he must be from like Mississippi or something. I don't know exactly where, but it says the work generated so much controversy based on the assertion that it was blasphemous, and the guy who painted it, Andre Serrano.
Painted it.
I'm sorry, not painted it. Made
Pissed it.
Well, it's a photo. It looks like nothing. It doesn't look like they would have to explain to you that
It
it's
looks
pissed.
interesting. It looks like
What
it looks like Christ if an atomic bomb had blown off while he was being crucified.
Right,
That's what
right.
it's kind of cool. It's
Yeah.
it's like Christ if
It's
you
really
know
cool.
if everything lit up. If everything, it's really cool. Some would say it's the greatest art.
Yeah.
What do you use for your palette? Like gouache or watercolor? No, actually, I use Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
But the
And I
real
just-
credit.
His name's Andre Serrano, so I imagined him talking like, because he said, "I had no idea Peace Christ would get the attention it did, since I meant neither blasphemy nor offense by it. I've been a Catholic all my life, so I am a follower of Christ. And yeah, so the house, this is my studio. This is all my Mountain Dew. We go pee in the bottle." I wonder how many other things he had to fill with piss to,
I wonder,
to
like,
figure out.
After that took off, the failures that he, shit Moses,
Right.
Come,
Right.
Muhammad.
come Muhammad. That's good. That's good shit.
Yeah.
But the thing about
Vomit
piss
Vishnu.
Jesus, again,
Well, nobody would ever make come Muhammad because they'd be dead.
come Muhammad, come Muhammad, you're my prophet. Anyway, the thing that's great about piss Jesus is the color of the piss creates the whole image, and it is a dark dehydrated level of piss that I haven't attained. I mean, I don't think anybody's attained that since bottled water was invented. I don't think you can piss like that anymore now that bottled water exists. And so I bet you he has explained how dehydrated he was to piss like that. And he has compared it to the dehydration in the desert as Jesus was being crucified.
Right.
Because that's what artists do. It's not just the art. It's how well can you lie to us about what you made to convince us it's worthy.
Right.
It's a period blood Buddha.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, it says subsequently he has explicitly rejected the assertion that he was motivated by blasphemy, saying instead that it was intended as a serious work of Christian art. He said what it symbolizes is the way Christ died. The blood came out of him, but so did the piece and the shit.
No, he didn't say that.
Yeah, he
no, he
did.
did
Yeah,
not.
he did.
Yes. Yes. What?
Maybe if peace Christ upset you, it's because he gives you some sense of what the crucifixion actually was like. I was born and raised a Catholic, and I've been a Christian all my life. So he was like, people think about the blood coming out, but everybody forgets that Jesus probably shit
Yeah, he
himself.
also pissed his pants the whole walk.
The whole walk,
and
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, because I was bench pressing the other day, and I was like farting pretty loudly.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure if I had to carry a cross through the street while everybody was like yelling at me, I'm sure I would go pee pee and poo poo.
I'm
Just
sure
a little bit.
I'm sure if wooden nails were being hammered into my hands and feet,
Yeah.
I might let one rip.
Yeah.
Especially after that Last Supper, yeah. Just a full belly. Fucking diarrhea in. Oh, no. That's how you do it, though. I like that.
That's good.
There's always a way to explain.
You just do something shocking, and then you figure out a post facto justification.
Yeah, you
It's
bend
like
it.
it's like if you say something racist in comedy, you say, "No, I'm satirizing
Yes.
ignorant attitudes."
Right.
It's all how
about
you
racism.
bend whatever note came out of your instrument. It's like people say that Hendrix would play a lot of notes wrong, but then he would bend the note into sounding like something very cool.
Right.
And if you make piss Jesus, because that's all the art that can come out of your brain,
Yeah.
bend that motherfucker
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and make some
It's called
profit.
working with what you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it says the art critic Lucy R. Lippard has presented a constructive case for the formal value of Serrano's Piss Christ, which she characterizes as mysterious and beautiful. She writes the work is a darkly beautiful photographic image. The small wood and plastic crucifix becomes virtually monumental as it floats, photographically enlarged, in a deep rosy glow that is both ominous and glorious. Lippard suggests that the formal values of the image can be regarded separately from other meanings. So people pure, I guess like purely on aesthetics, people look at this thing and they go like, "That's beautiful." It is kind of like it does make you feel something. You know?
Yeah, I liked it.
Like-
I liked the image, and if I didn't know it was piss,
If you didn't know it was piss, yeah.
again, I would have still been interested. The piss is the thing that brings you out of it for a second because we are so used to things like piss being just to shock.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
No one ever uses piss like subtly.
Yeah.
So when we act shocked and he's like, "What?" It's like, it's piss, sir.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But I do like the subtlety, the subtle use of piss. That's a tightrope that no one's ever been able to walk besides this guy, apparently.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like you have to go to the bathroom. Makes you feel like you've been holding it in too long.
Do you know, like, there's certain comics that you, like, really respect? Like, if you saw them, you'd be like, "Oh, I really like your work." Like, if it was, like, a Gary Goldman or somebody like that. But you think artists are the same way, where they're like, "Oh, God, I love the way you just spray your diarrhea on that picture of the
Oh,
Virgin
yeah.
Mary."
And I would hope porn stars are the same way, too.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
It's the way she sells the taking of the dick. That is the artistry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every male photographer is like a rapist. Like
Yeah.
Terry Richardson.
Oh, that's that dude with the glasses.
Yeah.
Miley
Yeah.
Cyrus
Which, like,
and whatnot. Yeah.
How did you not peg him as a rapist right away, looking at those spectacles?
Yeah. Well, because photography is another art that is really cool. We'll do a photography episode.
Okay.
We'll talk about our favorite pictures.
I
It's
mean,
gonna be
that'd
that guy
yeah.
diving off the one tower. What's that one called? That's a crazy image.
Well, on 9/11?
Yeah, dude, the guy that's just like missile dropping.
Oh.
Falling Man?
You know, I was
Yeah,
thinking the other
Falling Man,
day,
that's what it's called,
there's
right?
a picture of a famous picture of a vulture waiting for a child to die, like a starving African child. But it's like, who was taking the photo? Like, did he have snacks on him or something? Like, why didn't he? What happened there?
He won.
Isn't that weird?
Whoa. What is this?
Yeah,
There's a National Geographic. I guess it's National Geographic.
He didn't
whatever, but
stop
it's like
it from happening?
It's a famous photo of like a child, like an African child,
Yeah.
kind of like hunched over, and there's a vulture like watching it. Like the vulture's
Sure.
waiting for the kid to starve
Wow.
to death.
And then hopefully the photographers shoot the vulture away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
The
yeah.
guy who took that
and
picture.
gave him some of the peanuts in his.
He's like, no, let's wait this
Satchel.
out. He might just try to fuck him. He might just try to hump it like dogs do.
Right.
The guy who
Just a
took
bird
that
humping a kid.
A bird. Yeah.
the guy who took
guy
that picture
killed himself,
Yeah,
right?
killed himself. Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go.
Yeah.
So that's justice.
Wow.
Why though? Do you know why?
He was haunted by what he saw.
Yeah.
I mean, like he does. He gave an interview. He said like he doesn't know what happened to the kid, but he didn't just leave him there.
he didn't.
No.
It was
He-
a female child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did you hear about this? And I didn't. It's the one video I was like, I'm not gonna watch, and I watch all the terrible videos. But I guess it happened yesterday, or in Paris. A guy started stabbing kids and women at a park.
Yeah.
And there was men there, right? And a lot of people on Twitter are talking about how all the men ran away, blah, blah, blah. And so I have not watched the video, but a lot of people are posting an image. Oh, wow, that's a frightening photo. Mike just showed me the picture of the National Geographic kid. And I did see an image, though, of one of the people, because people are running away as these women and kids are being stabbed. And one of the men, since it's at a jungle gym, he's on top of the slide, and he slides down the slide to run away.
Yeah.
It's a grown man who slides down a slide to run away.
Did anyone
from a
die though
stabbing.
in that?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But that to me, like that image is art.
It'd be funny if you got like
Picture of with the guy in the background sliding down a slide, an adult man sliding down a slide, running from kids being killed by a terrorist is the greatest modern art image I could ever think of. A man sliding down a slide to run away from a terrorist.
I know. It's like, do I watch the video?
That's a poem. What is that? That's what is that, baby shoes? No one, who wants them? Give me $50. That's that. Man sliding like what?
Yeah.
Holy shit. It's such commentary on what we've become and what we've let happen to everything, I'm sure, I'm sure Andrew Tate will run with it and ruin
it's a
everything.
haiku.
But
Going down the slide while the kids are getting stabbed.
yeah.
We
all the way home. We all the way home.
Yeah.
imagine being caught in the viral terrorist video, and you're just on the merry-go-round, like, yeah, you're like a 29-year-old man.
Some lady's like, I'm here with Jean Michel, the man who slid down the slide as children were being stabbed. So, what was going through your head? I mean, that guy must have been like disabled or something, right?
He does it like again. I didn't see it, but the fact that he does it to get away. We've all stood at a slide and then had to use it to get away, but only when we're playing tag.
Yeah.
So we know that feeling of standing right at the slide and jumping down it as quickly as we can to avoid being tagged.
I think that guy Michael Longfellow has a joke about that. He said, I worked as a lifeguard and a guy had a heart attack and died at the top of a water slide.
No.
We were all debating. We were all debating like what to do.
Just
And
let
there
him
were
go
two
down it.
Yeah.
There used to be a comic, and I'm sorry I don't know his name. I think he quit anyway. But God bless him, he had a joke. Do you remember this comic? He had a joke about asking this girl in high school.
Wait, sorry, but what happens after that guy goes down the slide?
Kids are being stabbed, women
And
are crying,
does he
also
run
being
away?
stabbed. Apparently, all the men run away. Nobody tries to stop
Stop
this
the guy, yeah.
That's in
bizarre.
the video, at least.
That's bizarre.
Well,
Yeah, there's a guy on his bike that just continues riding away. Yeah.
I'm sure several thousand people on Twitter have said they would have done things differently if they were there.
Yeah. The reason I can't listen to women scream trying to help their kids.
Right.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
No.
It's just kind of crazy though because people go like, well, bad people will still do bad things, but it's like, okay, but if the guy had an AR-15, would have been a little different.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know? I don't know.
He was also
Thought.
like He's a
It's a
Syrian
liberal thought.
Syrian
Right.
Christian refugee. So I saw everyone on Twitter was like, "Whoa, we can't be politically correct about the Muslims now." When
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not us. We're very smart boys,
That's right.
and we'll always defend refugees, even when they're stabbing French children.
We don't care. We don't care how many children get raped.
Yeah.
How many women get trafficked by grooming gangs.
Yeah. We just want the virtue signal.
We just want a virtue signal. We want to flood your country and make it unrecognizable. And we're waiting for the Hollywood offers.
Yeah. You bet. People always say that, though, about making the country unrecognizable. I
Yeah.
mean, it's going to be recognizable. They're going to look a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people need to just realize, like, that's what happens with time, is the
Yeah.
faces change, you know? You could still go see the Temptations, but it's just like 5 new black guys, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what the country is.
Yeah.
It's just 5 new black guys we're going to learn about.
Yeah.
It'll be the same show. Women will just have to enter through a different door. And, nothing really changes.
Oh, shit.
What were you saying that this guy had a bit about something?
Oh, yeah, you remember that dude who had a bit about asking when they went on a field trip in high school to Six Flags, and he was in line on a roller coaster with this girl, and he was like, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend? And she said no to him. And then she got on the ride, and he, like, waited off of it, and she was just on the ride going, wee, woo, after, whatever. I don't know, it was funny.
Oh.
You had to be there, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he quit. Anyway, back to art. We didn't talk about the Hannah Gadsby art piece that's in New York right now.
Pablo-matic.
Pablo-matic, it's called. Based on a bit, I guess she did. I've never seen any of her specials, so I don't know which special this is in. But she talks about Pablo Picasso because he is the co-creator of this thing called Cubism, right? Which is like, let's go crazy. I don't even know how to technically define Cubism.
Uh-huh.
But it's just the idea that you are going to not try to make it. What is it? What is Cubism? Look up Cubism, Mike.
Cubism is like it's where the things are. It's where everything's like
Boom.
cubes, right?
No, that's
Like,
not what
no, everything's like
Cubism is.
geometric. It's like this. It's like this kind of.
Yeah, but it's
It's like made out of squares.
yeah. Well, but I don't know. That's not what it is, though. Look up the
Okay.
definition of it. Well, anyway, he invented it, and then she has a fucking joke about it, right? She's like talking shit, and she's just like, where the idea is now there's all these new perspectives.
An early 20th century style and movement in art, especially painting, in which perspective with a single viewpoint was abandoned, and use was made of simple geometric shapes, interlocking planes, and later collage.
Okay, yeah. So the idea is it's basically like everyone was, which I don't even believe.
Different
There's
views
no
of
way that's
subjects
true.
together in the same picture.
Bad
resulting in-
artists have been making cube art their whole lives. It's just it's just the world of art that was being paid for at the time. Everything was supposed to look like reality, and then Picasso said, "Fuck that! Let's do Cubism,
Right.
and let's use the entire goddamn canvas." To go crazy, right?
Yeah.
Use up all the space, block, 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 colors, 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 good time, good time, good time. And then Hannah Gadsby was like, well, that's all fine and dandy, but are any a woman's perspective?
Uh-huh.
And that's the joke in her special.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, they act
There
like
is no
women, they
joke,
act like
if you've
women
noticed.
didn't have access to paint, like, come on.
But she literally, like, she doesn't even tell a joke. She just acknowledges it, and then it's just like, fuck Picasso. Yes, he is responsible for Cubism, but none of the perspectives in his paintings are, rely on a woman's perspective.
I'm painting me cock, I am.
And then she goes on a rant about, like, Hillary Clinton. The truth is Picasso was a sexist, right?
Right.
He was like a womanizer, violent with women. He would walk around with, like, a gun that had blanks on it, and if a woman would irritate him, he would just, boom, pull it, and the blank would go off. Really try to scare the shit out of ladies,
Mike's taking notes.
Yeah, there's, like, a quote that's... He's basically like, all women are idiots unless they're they're all goddesses.
Like, oh, you have your little gun with blanks in it.
He's one of those. There was like a type of guy
Yeah.
that would put a gun in a lady's mouth
Right.
as a form of we're
say-
together,
to say-
right?
to say I love you.
yeah. As a form of like, you're mine, right? And that was Picasso. He's like
Right.
this awful type of piece of shit to women,
Mm-hmm.
right? Does that deny his art though? Very similar with the Louis thing, where he would be with women who were also artists, and then he would, once the relationship was over, he would torch him, blackballed from the business. He would take it all very personally.
Yeah, but Doc
you
was
couldn't
doing
end a
fine.
relationship with Picasso nicely.
Right.
He would torch your ass, and you couldn't work in the business.
Wait, how is that similar to the Louis situation?
Well, because those women were female comics, and then when they tried to say anything, Dave Becky reached out to them and told them to shut the fuck up. And Louis also kind of told them to shut the fuck up. Everyone forgets about that part because we like Louis so much. But
Yeah.
the truth is, we're not mad at, because everyone's like, well,
I thought he just
there's
did
a
it-
fine line between the approval, because it was like they were uncomfortable, but did you say no or yes, or did you ask to leave? That was very confusing. But the thing that wasn't confusing, and why people should still be irritated with Louis, is after it happened, he tried to make those women shut the fuck up about it because he knew it would get weird for him.
Yeah, it was his manager Dave Becky.
Yeah, his
right?
manager Dave Becky tried to shut them up, and they were comics. I don't even know who they were, but they were comics. And Pablo would do similar things where it's just like, hey, no one work with these people. And Dave Becky made it that, Dave Becky told them, I think, like this, you don't want to do this. No one's going to work with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fuck you, Dave Becky. And hey, Louis. Well, Dave's not funny, so
Louis,
he
you're
can suck
so
my
funny.
dick.
Yeah.
But Louis funny. What can you do? And Picasso could paint like a motherfucker. But yeah, no good to women. I just don't know what that has to do with the painting.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. It's weird for her to be like, Picasso is actually never good. You know,
It's just
like
what is I wouldn't even mind the art piece.
it's like saying Woody Allen's not good.
Yeah, and then you make like this weird, like you could satire Woody Allen in a way where you go at him, but she doesn't have the tools to do it. Like the thing about good satire is it's got to be like super sharp.
Yeah.
Right. It's got to cut a motherfucker.
It's
I mean, you
gotta
got to
sort of-
behead
it's
someone
gotta-
with satire.
Sure.
That's the whole reason you do it. Is like you take someone important like Picasso and you say Pablo-matic, and now you got to behead the motherfucker in front of everybody. But the bitch don't got a sharp enough blade.
Right,
All she's
right.
got is like puns.
Right.
She like can't do jokes well.
She's just kind of hacking it.
Because she's and I'm not even knocking her. Like I don't care if you're not funny to me, because she is funny. Like we were talking about it before the show. You watch Hannah Gadsby and you realize what she's for. She's for like puppy brain people who call dogs doggo and stuff. You know, like those
Yeah,
people. They're like doggo, and they have like weird slang.
Yeah.
And you go, that's not funny. That makes you feel warm inside. You feel like you're being tickled, and you think that's funny because it makes you feel like he. That's not funny. That's warmth. That's comfort. And she does that to people. She makes them feel safe by yelling at Pablo Picasso. And then she tells like a little cute thing. It's not funny. She does what kindergarten teachers do to kids. She goes, oh no, the monster man. And like there's no actual threat, and Pablo's not going to hurt anybody. He's been dead for however many years. But she coddles the people, you know? It's like for kids. It's very weird what she does.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Um,
She's for kids. It's for like,
Yeah,
and I don't
I
mean for
haven't seen-
kids.
I
It's for
haven't
like
seen-
a type of person who watches something that has no actual bite to it.
yeah.
And they just go like, Swiper, no swiping. And they go like, he really told Swiper.
She's like Barney for
You go,
adult-
you didn't
she's
tell
like-
Swiper shit. He's
she's-
fucking part of it,
She's
you
like
idiot.
Barney for adults.
Yes.
Yeah.
You go, you didn't yell at anybody. You're like legally can't. You're talking to children. That's what she comes off like.
Yeah.
You know, I think Pablo's so bad. I think the Germans were right to bomb Guernica.
And now I'm mad at her. I was never even mad at her. But now I am mad at her because her one special was about rape, right? Which
Yeah.
it's like, fuck yeah, you got raped. Let's behead your rapist.
Yeah.
And then you can't do it. So now you have all these people talking about a rapist who's not even beheaded. You like butter knifed his neck. So he's just sitting there still alive, kind of bleeding, and we're just discussing your rape. Is it funny? Is it not? You could have made it funny.
Right.
But you know, again, not a sharp enough blade for the neck you were dealing with. So cut chicken heads, bitch.
That
You
guy's
can't
like-
you can't cut Pablo's neck off. You're not funny enough.
The guy's like, thank God I didn't rape somebody funny. That could have ended very badly for me if I raped somebody who could write a joke.
Well, note to self: just keep raping unfunny people. That's what he.
Oh gosh. But no, Pablo Picasso is someone that, again, just when you were like, hey, look up art. You know, like, hey, look up artists, and you look up everybody, you know? You go, ooh, Rembrandt is cool. I really like Rembrandt, and you find out who you like.
Yeah.
And then you go, but when you look at Picasso, that other guy too, Salvador Dali.
Yeah.
Those are two guys that when I actually look at it,
He was kind of a real bad guy too, right?
I think his mustache tells me he tied a few ladies to train tracks.
I heard
but other than that, I don't know.
I heard he ate his own shit.
No. What?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But when I look at their art, I go, how? Like, there's a lot of paintings where I go, okay, I could kind of get it. Like, even Sean, you know this.
Yeah.
They dot it. What's that called?
Well, actually, just go back to Salvador Dali. He was a bad guy. He had this joke. He said, I don't need to buy my wife a watch because, you know, women already have a melting clock in the kitchen.
Yeah, I love that. And that's a great painting. What was that called? What was that painting called?
The melting
Something.
clocks ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't know.
it's like
Something of time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that one is that's badass, and those are paintings and Picasso. You just Google image them,
Yeah.
but where you go, I don't even know what you used to accomplish it.
Right.
Like I don't know what type of paint you made happen.
Well, that's why it's like art should be taught with some kind of historical context, and like you should kind of have an idea
Sure.
of like what was going on at the time, you know,
Yeah.
and what.
You think it's too powerful, and that's why they suppress it? Like
What, the
music is
clock?
actually the dumbest art form, and that's why they give it to us, and we all like it, and
Right.
everybody could like music.
Right.
And art is like, if we actually all got into it, we'd be like, yo, we got to stop all this shit. Pull the troops from Ukraine.
Maybe.
Like if an artist painted something
Yeah.
that made us go, hold on.
Well, podcasting's the lowest art form.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's just talking, actually.
But yeah.
Who
Anyway,
else is
Sean,
there?
did you have a did you have a painting that you
I
wanted
did.
to talk about?
Yeah, I got a few more people we could...
Yeah, there's this artist from the Weimar German period named George Grosz, and he has this painting called "Life Makes," or this drawing, I should say, a black and white drawing called "Life Makes You Happy," and I'll just hold it up here so the camera can maybe see it. But I don't know. I really like. There is something now. You know, people always compare this kind of time in America to Weimar Germany. You know, Germany before the Nazis. And
Sorry, what time was this?
this is the 1920s in Germany, like after World War I. And this painting, "Life Makes You Happy."
So we got some really bad stuff coming, is
Yeah.
what people think.
Right. I mean, it's just like he just George Grosz made a bunch of. He was in World War I. He was traumatized by it. He became like a pacifist and a socialist and all that. And so he made a bunch of paintings about sort of the decadence of war, of World War I, about the Weimar period. And "Life Makes You Happy," it's just kind of a drawing where you see this sort of dejected man probably on his way either home or to from work. And then you see a World War I veteran, you know, with coins out or with a plate for like begging for change, who's, you know, a triple amputee.
I like it because it's not the best drawing I've ever seen. Like it's good. It's good.
I like it because it's black and white, so you can color it in if you want to.
Right. And then you see...
That's what happens when you lend Scott your books.
Yo,
It's
imagine.
just a crayon.
Just colored it all in.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You also see a prostitute, but you can't see her face, and Camille Paglia points out that this represents that she's faceless to the men who have sex with her.
She's all of our mothers.
Right. But that was like a big thing, and, you know, after World War I in Germany during the hyperinflation, so many women had to prostitute themselves, so many veterans had to beg and all that. And
and literally a reflection of our time, huh?
right, because it's like the dejected guy.
Those women just didn't have the internet
The dejected guy is me on my way to
And an
work every
iPhone.
day.
to show their pussy.
And the
Yeah.
World War I veterans is like the 20 different crackheads and heroin addicts I get to see every day. I have to take the subway in New York.
Yeah, this
And
is
then-
peak buying harmonica years. This is like guys hopping on trains trying to go elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
The prostitute's the OnlyFans woman, and then the fat capitalist is the Are You Garbage podcast host who make $20,000 a second while I'm slaving away.
Hey, you think the harmonica was
And then
invented?
I'm in this window trying to figure out Adobe Premiere and just throwing a glass across the room.
But yeah, no, and George Grosz is an interesting guy. He had to flee Germany like right before Hitler came to power. There's a story that the Nazis in the 1920s came to his studio and they were going to kick his ass, but he was dressed in like a workman's clothes, so he just kind of passed himself off as like a worker there, and they didn't recognize him. But he came to apparently like his most famous painting is in Long Island. I actually really want to go to the museum. I haven't been yet, but. Yeah, it's called Eclipse of the Sun, and it's about, World War I profiteers, and it became famous during the Vietnam War. Like, protesters would go out to Long Island to, like, have anti-war rallies at the museum, near the painting. But apparently, I guess, like, he was broke when he went to America, so he had to give some guy the painting in exchange for, like, a car repair bill or something, and it's worth more than $15 million or however much now.
That painting you just showed us?
No.
Oh,
Eclipse
okay.
of the Sun is a different one.
Oh, okay.
Life Makes You Happy is like not as famous, but Eclipse of the Sun is his most famous painting.
Uh-huh.
And he's another one of like Hitler in Hell that he did in 1944. It's pretty. All his stuff is good. I really like it. I really like that Weimar period. I think there are parallels to our current time, just with obviously not exactly.
Yeah.
We're not as like traumatized by war. Not as many people kind of experienced war, but you do still see homeless veterans all over the place, addicts all over the place, desperate people, prostitution, and then these kind of capitalists at the top living it up with their sort of fake moralism. Like another part of the painting is you see this this fat capitalist, eating his dinner, but he has a crucifix on the wall, and Christ is kind of askew, and it shows, how divorced people's morals are from their actual behavior, which people aren't as religious today, but you certainly see with all this kind of social justice rhetoric and these kind of everybody just wants to display themselves as a good person online,
Right.
but nobody actually cares about. I mean, I guess they do care about changing things, but they don't. If the world actually works out for you, you don't really want to disrupt that so much.
Right. Yeah, it's almost like you have to show that you're into social justice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not me. I want the Little Mermaid to be fucking white. How dare you do that, Disney? And that's how you know that I'm the real deal, folks. Because I'll say it right here on my podcast. The Little Mermaid should be white.
But George Grosz, he died in 1959. He fell down the stairs drunk.
Nice.
Damn, that's all of them.
Big drinker. Yeah.
A lot of these dudes are like penniless too.
Yeah. Well, that's what's kind of cool about it. It's like you just, you think of if you do something creative, you think in terms of like people being successful and people being good and gaining success from being good. But it's just kind of like you look at some of these artists and the way they lived, and it's like, I don't know, they just kind of did their thing, and then maybe they sold. Maybe they, once they did a lot of stuff, and then it was years after finally pissing in the jar with the crucifix.
Yeah,
I'm a
think
millionaire
like
now.
Which, because I think Piss Christ, it sold for like 133,000 euro, which that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
That any of us could make that sort of money by doing that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's how much a Saudi royal pays to piss on an Instagram model. I have this friend online. He's like a Zoomer guy named Jack Lamb. He's very funny. But he had this quote. It was like, he just doesn't enjoy or go to museums. And he says, no painting has ever brought anyone as much joy as a cartoon has.
That's true.
Just like watching Family Guy or
right?
something.
On some level, yeah.
It's probably brought more joy to millions. I guess over the course of all human history. I don't know
Right.
if it's true, but maybe the last 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe paintings are bullshit.
Yeah, maybe they suck
Do you have a
unless they're
painting-
moving quickly.
do you have a
Like,
painting
if
that
you
you
flip
like?
them? You ever do the books and you flip
yeah,
it quick?
yeah, those are fun.
Yeah, I mean,
And
there's
they're
a
like
few...
$6.
What?
The little flip books.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Unless you really go for it, you could charge anybody anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cool thing about art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So anyway, I do like Rembrandt. I think again another artist that you look at, you question the colors, but with Rembrandt, the images are very real. Yeah, no, I don't know. You can't. I can't explain what a Rembrandt painting looks like. You go, oh no, it just looks like people, and it's a little dark, you know. But it's not. It's like, you actually have to look at it close to actually give a shit. But there's one called The Anatomy Lesson of Dr. Hope I'm saying this right. Nicolas Tulp.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it is? No,
Probably.
that's not what it is. But anyway. Yeah, it probably is. But it is very badass looking. There's also, The Anatomy Lesson of Dr. Nicolas Tulp. And it's just these very dark, strange, depressing images of morbid situations that if you look at the colors of them, they are more surprisingly vibrant than you would assume because the paintings are very dark. And I always find that really cool that if you zoom in because all we do is look at art on phones. But if you were in a museum and you looked at the faces, they're brighter than the moon at night. Mm-hmm. And yet you would look at the image as a whole and you'd go, how goddamn depressing. Mm-hmm. I like things like that.
Nice.
Yeah, Scott found Rembrandt when he finally looked up what Dutch masters on his rolling papers means.
Yeah, I also like Rembrandt. Yeah, it sounds like all the famous companies, Colgate and Rembrandt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Campbell's.
It was a nice painting.
Yeah.
You guys fuck with Andy Warhol at all?
I like Warhol.
Yeah, Warhol is necessary.
Yeah.
I just think it kind of sucks that nothing happened really after him that like is as big. Like, what artists are as popular as Warhol after Warhol outside of the art community?
I like that woman who shot him, Valerie Solanas.
Do you know her story?
Yeah, well, every like woman who does like the Miss Andry thing is a bit like rips her off because she wrote the Scum Manifesto, which I forget. It's like it's something about stab every man. I forget what Scum stands for, but yeah. And she was very anti-man, and she shot Warhol. And you know what? He needed to be taken down a peg.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, nobody got hurt.
Well, because Warhol is Warhol is like super well read on art history.
She was paid off by the Campbell Soup Corporation.
We need you to shut this queer up. We're not moving as much soup.
Again, because I don't know much about Warhol, but what I do know about Warhol and why I do like him is he does understand art that has come before him. I mean, everybody does, but he sort of puts it on its head. He mocks things that are being presented, you know, the way that capitalism is presented to us. Yeah, he's a fun time.
Scum Manifesto, it stands for Society for Cutting Up Men.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We should do an episode on her, on a bunch of female painters.
Yeah.
It's so funny we didn't look up any female painters. I couldn't name.
Are
one.
there any?
Oh, of course there are.
Well,
I'm
actually,
sure they're unbelievable.
You know what? This is
Yeah.
a good
There's
segue.
the one woman, right? Come on.
This is a good segue to end this episode.
Yeah.
Mike, it's Father's Day, and I did get you a Father's Day present.
No.
You did?
Yes.
Is it a gun?
Wow.
And it is The Story of Art by E.H. Gumbridge.
Okay.
Which is apparently one of the best, I think it is the best-selling art book of all time. It's gone through, like, it was written in, I think, the late 40s or early 50s. It's gone through 17 editions now.
Wow.
But there is not one female artist in there.
No.
Really?
And actually, no, I'm wrong. On the, like, one of the last editions that he did, because he died in the 90s, 1990s, one of the last editions he did, he finally added one female artist.
Nice.
So it's 1,000 pages, and there's only one female artist
It's
in the
Marina
entire.
Abramovich, the
Yeah.
lady that you could pee on.
When you type in greatest female artist, they're so confused. They go, Mariah Carey? Whitney Houston? Like, they're just naming singers.
Yeah.
But and then some feminist woman wrote a response to it called "The Story of Art Without Men."
Mm.
I don't
you
mind.
can-
I honestly, I don't
And
mind.
that
a thing
book
like
is not as big. That's a more of the size of a young adult
because it is that hard thing where you look at art. It's something we're very fortunate now in terms of art that poorer people can do it and more people can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed for the three of us. But, because forever, everything we got to see for the most part was from very, very wealthy people or people who knew wealthy people and then became wealthy. So, these women who are complaining, they do have fucking points, man. We didn't even let them hold paintbrushes. Why the fuck can't we see any paintings by women? It's hell,
Yeah.
And sad. So, yeah. We'll look into it and we'll have an episode of.
Well, when you
Art
let
on
women paint, they just paint flowers that look like vaginas. It's like, hey, come on, lady. Anything else?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I bet you were missing like the greatest paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't put any women in the story of art because I was trying to keep it under 1,000 pages, and they'll just keep talking forever.
Yeah.
All the amazing art by women that were just like thrown out the window by a man who got home from work that night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What the fuck were you doing?
All right. Well,
Shame.
that's the show. Hey, join us over on Patreon, huh? Patreon.com/outforsmokes, and we will see you guys either over there or...
Yeah, I might talk about Mark Lombardi on the Patreon. It's another artist I like.
Let's go for it.
Nice. All right. We'll see you over there. Bye-bye.